Good morning to Ms. Chow and everyone. According to ICAW, it states that reformation of disclosure is important and is required because it contains complex information at the same time overloaded of information. This should be difficult for users to make their judgment. Besides that, according to Huang Xing, it also states that majority of the firms around the world have inadequate disclosure, which means that the level of transparency will drop and also the investors' confidence will drop. Therefore, in my opinion, I feel that disclosure requirement is needed for the reformation to suit each of the users as well as contain information which are relevant to the users, not only to the company, and also have information such as supplemental schedule. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insight, but I would have to disagree with you on that. You mentioned that reformation is needed because of information overload. That a study by CF Institute found that eligible investors are capable of reviewing information, so it would not be a problem for them. And information overload are actually useful information, thus investors won't have any transparency issues. Secondly, if investors are capable of reviewing information, why is there a need for information? And if there is information overload in the first place, why is it not specific enough for users to fully understand them? In my opinion, I think that the whole reformation process would require huge cost as it involves a detailed review and implementation process. It also considers the time factor as it requires a lot of time to do so. Companies will also have challenges to adapt to reformation, which will lead to losses if they are unable to adapt to the reformation.
To counter your view, Shakila, you mentioned that the whole reformation process would require companies a big amount of money, a lot of time and incur losses. I would like to disagree on that. This is because organizations might incur losses at the beginning, but the end, by the near future, companies will definitely gain many benefits out of the reformation process. According to Helen, one of the benefits that companies may attain is that it will attract potential investors and gain investors' trust through this reformation of disclosure. As companies are only required to disclose the relevant information to investors, and this will eventually create confidence of the investors towards the company. Apart from that, in order to implement the reformation of financial reporting, it can be done by imposing strict rules and regulation. By imposing strict rules and regulation, employees will tend not to go against the rules and carry out their responsibilities accordingly. And if any of them goes against the rules or does not follow any regulation, they will have to be solely answerable to the authorities.
Deepak, you say imposing strict rules will force these employees to work accordingly. Have you considered looking into other players of financial reporting that will be involved in this implementation directly and indirectly? Even though these changes, such as strict rules and regulations, behavior of a player cannot be changed. In a recent study based on financial behavior, financial players, they have two kinds of behaviors. One is traditional behavior and one is behavioral behavior. Behavioral finance work in a more interdisciplinary concept where individuals learn from past experience and are influenced by group decision making. Whereas for traditional finance, they make unbiased judgment and maximizing their own self-interest. That alone is enough to dismantle the idea to even implement strict rules. Secondly, different countries have different set of jurisdiction. According to the US Department of State, rules and regulations are applicable to executive branch employees only and not to lower tier employees. This law and regulations of US for ethics in financial disclosure is related to employee participation in partition of political activities in accordance with the Hatch Act. Thank you.
Finally, to summarize our team's most important argument, providing a detailed and correct financial information could solve the financial disclosure problem to avoid their investors making wrong decisions. Investors are relying on the data and information that provided to make an efficient allocation to invest or acquire the company. So to avoid fraud, The regulators should impose the strict rules and regulations so the employees will tend not to go against the rules and contribute accordingly. So, besides that, the regulator body also should establish a framework to provide a structure for setting the disclosure requirements. This should ensure that the disclosures are only required when they're needed and well and properly organized, and also should recognize that disclosure requirements reflect a balancing of interests rather than unqualified commitment to transparency.
Based on my teammates' findings, it is disagreed that financial reporting disclosure needs reformation. This is said because too much of financial information disclosure is not an issue for investor, as investors have the knowledgeable, as they have much knowledge as they can analyze information, so the volume of information is not concerned by the investor. Besides that, the whole process of reformation is costly, and at the same time it will take a longer time of period. Moreover, different countries, every country have different legal decision. So every country have different decisions followed by the governments. In US, the rules and regulation is only applicable to executive branch of employees, not for the lower tier employees. To conclude this statement that we have degree is valid, disagree was valid. So, as what mentioned, investor can manage without disclosing the financial reporting, and companies' private information are safer, and there are higher potential that the company will face losses. Thank you.
Thank you. To answer your question, supplemental schedule is a detailed disclosure done by auditors, such as to include what are the financial reporting standards used in the disclosure of the company, like IFRS 16 and more, so on, and also to have information such as the going concern of the company and so on.
Hello, my name is Vijay. I want to ask, how companies after investors or warrants making a wrong decision?
The companies should effectively prepare the investors' communication and auditing disclosure to improve the coordination through the companies, because the communication is one of the key to let the individual beware and lead them to the changes of the financial disclosure. Okay.
My name is Kasuri. Can I know who are knowledgeable investors?
Knowledgeable investors are major investors, and they have more influence in the company as compared to the minor investors. So the knowledgeable investors are actually capable of reviewing high volume of information, and they also make better investment decisions based on the years of experience that they have had.
Thank you.